Hello, Reivers. I painted this Space Marine Reiver with Vallejo model color, some fluorescent and some chrome paint, and then sprayed the whole thing with Vallejo the Shifter, pale blue and gold, after priming it with a mixture of Vallejo blue and white surface primer. And I painted the base with a mixture of acrylic paints that's similar to Death Forest Green. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I heard on the internet that I don't like the eyes, though I'm gonna have to fix that. And also I don't like how he's so iridescent on his sleeve right there, so I'm gonna fix that. I just go over the top of it with paint to fix it. Anything that I see like this. But I'm really happy with this. I had heard that from other content creators that the Vallejo model paints are good, and yes, they are. I found that I had to thin them on a wet palette, but I also thinned my speed paint a little bit on the wet palette too. So here's what I used for this guy. And I just paint over the top and it'll still be iridescent anywhere I messed up. A lot of times when I see it in the camera, and especially when I see it on my big screen TV, then I see it in more detail than I could even with the ring light, because I couldn't paint outside in the natural light because it was at night. I see stuff that I didn't see before. So I start out with Lamy and medium to get my brush wet, thanks to Tabletop Minions. Shout out to them. And then I did black U.S. Art Supply because I didn't have black in my Vallejo paints. And I pretty much always follow this procedure. Then I went red, model color. And then I went with the chrome paint, and it's air paint, but I used a brush. And it worked fine, even on the wet palette. Then I used smoke and this lighter brown, Madeira, natural wood. And then I used some yellow, transparent yellow. And I really like the way that his leather turned out with this stuff. I think it turned out pretty cool. And, I used, for the white, I used diluted 50-50 with water, Arteco paint that I bought cheap on Amazon. And I'm really impressed with this paint. I think it's really good because I diluted it like a month ago, 2 months ago with water, and it never separated. Of course, I shook it, and I probably have a ball in there. And then for the plasma gun, I used some green stuff rolled after building up the white. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I didn't bother to mask the face or the base or anything like I did before. And I don't think I really need to with the iridescent paint. Now, albeit, because I used flow improver, like a 0.5 milliliter. So if you're not a science person, there's 20 milliliters, or there's 20 drops in a milliliter. I used about 10 drops of flow improver in my little single action airbrush siphon jar. Maybe that siphon jar holds maybe a couple ounces, maybe. I would say it might even hold less than that. It might be more like an ounce or an ounce and a half. Probably about maybe 100 mils. No, not even. 50 mils. Okay, the next guy I painted with speed paint. Now, I'm really impressed with this guy. I'm not as happy as I am with the Vallejo paint. And I used the speed paint on a wet palette, and albeit I had to do more layers, but I like to do every one of my guys different so that I can experiment and do other effects. I'm gonna have to fix his eyes again, okay? But other than that, he turned out really good. I'm not as happy as the Vallejo paint. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but like the gun, the black is a little blotchy or whatever. So here's the paints I used for him. Started out with Grim Blacks, Speed Paint 2, then went to Slaughter Red, then went to Broadsword Silver, then went to, I used Speed Paint Medium to wet the brush. Then I went to Warrior Skin, and then I went to Holy White. And I was tempted to use another white, but I didn't want to use the Arteco again. I wanted some different effect. And I had to build up a lot of layers, but I'm not unhappy with it. I even like the way the fluorescent paint turned out. Here's the fluorescent paint that I used. Green Stuff Earl. I'm really happy with the way the fluorescent turned out. And I'm sure that once I put it under the black light or a UV flashlight, it'll look great. I may actually be the most happy with this guy, just because I think I did a better quality job on him. And what you got to know about this is it's really super fast. I probably, in fact, I'm positive that I spent more time assembling these guys because the assembly was difficult than I spent painting them. The last guy, the captain, I did with Citadel paints, which I usually do first, but I was really eager to try the Vallejo paints because I've heard so many good things about them. And I got them, they didn't send me what I ordered, so I got a weird set of colors, but I made them work. Okay, I started out with Abaddon Black, Abaddon, or however you pronounce it. Then I went to Corn Red. I try to follow kind of the same pattern. Then I went with Lead Belcher. I actually had to add some thinner to the Lead Belcher, and that kind of messed it up, but I couldn't even get it to mix. I couldn't even shake the bottle or whatever. It was so dried out, and there's so little in there that I actually added a thinner, and I also added a mixing ball. I probably added a little too much thinner because I kind of struggled with it. But it turned out good, I think. Not unhappy with it. It doesn't look very iridescent, but I'm actually okay with that. Oh, I also painted the plasma gun with the silver too. And I'm okay with that. I didn't do a fluorescent just because I was lazy. I could have gone and got a different color of fluorescent Green Stuff Earl paint, but I was just too lazy to get up. And then I went brown. And then I went Wraithbone, I believe it's called. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, Wraithbone. And then I actually went with some shade on it, some flesh shade. And I had a lot of trouble with the face and the skull both, and actually with the skin color, but I really liked the way the skin color turned out. And actually the shading looks like it did pretty well too. So you can certainly shade afterwards, after painting with the iridescent paint. And because I used the flow improver, I got it really thin, which I'm really happy about. But I'm not unhappy with the skin color even after putting the iridescent paint. I think as long as I sprayed not very much on there. Now, definitely I always touch up these guys to make them better because I'm seeing things, especially when I rewatch my video on the big screen TV. I'm seeing things that I'm not seeing while I'm painting, right? So let me know what you think. Appreciate you, Reivers. Have a good day.